Japan Journal, the world in focus. You've been inundated with headlines all week, but what truly matters? Japan Journal, the world in focus, dives into the story and gives you the clarity you need. Every week, veteran journalist and Hall of Fame broadcaster Mal Adams brings you expert insights, compelling narratives, and unique perspectives from Japan and beyond. Produced by Totown Communications Company Limited for GNN, the global news network, Japan Journal is the Internet's #1 English-language weekly online cybercast from Japan. Tune in and make sense of the world through the eyes of a 55-year broadcast veteran with a legacy of journalistic excellence. Subscribe now on YouTube and join our global community. You'll be glad you did.
Welcome to this special investigative report on Japan Journal. I'm your host, Mal Adams. Today, we delve into one of the most alarming events in modern American history, the January 6th insurrection at the United States Capitol. This was more than just a riot or protest. It was a coup attempt, a direct attack on the heart of American democracy, shaking it to its core. Through this report, we will explore 12 reasons why this is true, drawing from history, political analysis, and the ideological forces that have led to this moment. This is a message to the Black man of America, a call to vigilance in these uncertain times. The January 6th insurrection marked the culmination of years of eroding democratic norms under the Trump administration. The refusal to accept the results of a free and fair election, a cornerstone of democracy, was fueled by baseless claims of voter fraud. This rejection of truth mirrored authoritarian regimes where power is prioritized over democratic principles. Evidence for this erosion is seen in the months leading up to January 6th, with over 60 court cases challenging election results dismissed due to lack of evidence. Despite this, Trump's rhetoric amplified mistrust in the electoral system, a tactic historically used to undermine democratic governance. The roots of this distrust were deepened by social media, where misinformation about the election flourished unchecked. This digital echo chamber created an alternative reality for many Americans, setting the stage for the insurrection. At its core, the MAGA movement's philosophy, Make America Great Again, carries an implicit message of Make America White Again. This ideology is driven by fear of democratic shifts, predicted to make Black and brown Americans the majority by the year 2030. Historically, the backlash against racial progress has been a recurring theme in American politics, from the post-Reconstruction Jim Crow era to the Civil Rights Movement. January 6th reflects this continuity as the insurrectionists carried symbols of white supremacy, including Confederate flag, and targeted a government increasingly representative of a diverse population. The Capitol siege was a stark reminder of how fear of racial equity can drive political violence, highlighting the urgent need to address systemic racism and its influence on American politics. Economic disparities among working-class whites have been skillfully exploited by Trump and his allies to foster resentment against minority communities. This tactic mirrors historical efforts to divide and conquer by scapegoating marginalized groups. The narrative of economic disenfranchisement, though valid for many Americans, was weaponized to blame immigration and affirmative action for job losses, rather than systemic issues like corporate greed and automation. This manipulation was evident in the rhetoric surrounding January 6th, where insurrectionists claimed they were taking back their country, a sentiment rooted in economic fear and racial resentment. Social media played a pivotal role in organizing, promoting, and amplifying the events of January 6th. Platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Parler became breeding grounds for extremist ideologies, creating an ecosystem of misinformation and radicalization. The rise of QAnon, an unfounded conspiracy theory embraced by many insurrectionists, exemplifies how digital platforms can be weaponized to destabilize society. There's the real fake news in this. This phenomenon is not new, though. Propaganda has long been a tool of political manipulation. However, the speed and reach of social media in these days and times have made it a uniquely powerful force in modern insurrections. January 6th showcased the dark side of patriotism, where love of country is twisted into justification for violence. The insurrectionists believed that they were defending democracy, even as they attacked it. Underscores the power of ideological manipulation. This warped sense of patriotism is rooted in a selective reading of history that glorifies white dominance while erasing contributions of marginalized groups. This imagery of flags, military-style gear, and chants of USA highlight how symbols of unity can be co-opted to divide and conquer. Donald Trump's role in inciting January 6th cannot be overstated. From his speech at the Ellipse to his months-long campaign to delegitimize the 2020 election, Trump's rhetoric directly contributed to the violence. Historical parallels can be drawn to leaders who used propaganda to incite coups and revolutions. Trump's call to fight like hell echoes authoritarian strategies where language is weaponized to mobilize followers. The aftermath of January 6th, with Trump's refusal to condemn the violence unequivocally, further cements his role as a central figure in this unprecedented attack on democracy. So in conclusion, let me say that the January 6th insurrection was not an isolated event, but a culmination of years of political manipulation, racial tension, and economic disparity. It serves as a warning of the fragility of democracy and the urgent need for vigilance. As Americans, we must restore, protect, and defend our democracy and the democratic ideals by addressing systemic injustices, promoting truth in media, and fostering unity across divides. The road ahead is challenging, but the future of democracy depends on our collective action. I want to thank you very much for joining us on this brief report, but a timely report to remind you about what really happened on January 6, 2021. Please stay focused, please stay woke, please stay informed, and remember, seize moments of excited curiosity for the acquisition of new knowledge. I am Mal Adams for Japan Journal on the Global News Network, bidding you sayonara from Japan.
Japan Journal, the world in focus. You've been inundated with headlines all week, but what truly matters? Japan Journal, the world in focus, dives into the story and gives you the clarity you need. Every week, veteran journalist and Hall of Fame broadcaster Mal Adams brings you expert insights, compelling narratives, and unique perspectives from Japan and beyond. Produced by Totown Communications Company Limited for GNN, the Global News Network, Japan Journal is the Internet's #1 English-language weekly online cybercast from Japan. Tune in and make sense of the world through the eyes of a 55-year broadcast veteran with a legacy of journalistic excellence. Subscribe now on YouTube and join our global community. You'll be glad you did.